So we need to make it interesting with the figure of 8 arc, right? Even when he takes it back on itself, right? So that is an insight into the power of arcing. As I've been doing this animation off stream, it just came to me as I recorded this for the Pro Archive that I've got an excellent opportunity to demonstrate to you one of the most powerful things that animators use. Now, members of my training library have already been disclosed. This secret has already been disclosed to them through the training archives, so they'll be no stranger to it. But I think it's a great thing to share with you and to show you here's it operating at its highest level. All right. But what we animators use, you all the time hear the term, let's get a nice big fat brush here, arcing, right? The law of arcing, right? And we know our arcs go like this, they can go like this. You know, which arc, right? A question mark, right? A bouncing ball, which arc, right? And, you know, one of the best arcs that is utilized and one of the most secret lifelike arcs is the figure of 8 arc. Now, figure of 8 arcs can be in perspective. They can be one shorter or longer than the other. They can be, you know, extremely subtle, right? Like that. Or you can have it coming down here and then going like a figure of 8 arcs. It's that little loop-the-loop that really creates something. Now, as he's lifting the skull, I'm going to draw the arc along so you can see what happens, right? So we're going to come here, right? Then we're going to go here. And then we're going to go here. Oopsie, what's going on here? Oh, it's still doing that, right? Okay, so oopsie, so now the turn is gonna happen, right? So we're gonna go back down. It's coming down on itself, right? Now it's gonna go up here because we're not fully in between, right? So it's gonna go up. So that's the first little loop-the-loop, right? Now from there, it's going to go down, right? Because he's bringing it up. Oopsie, he's brought it up. And now he's bringing it down again, right? He's bringing it down again. So we can see at the moment we've got this, right? Boom, 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 right? And then again, it's going to come up on itself. So it goes boom, 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 then it goes up on itself, right? So while it's not really making a figure of 8 back to this figure of 8, right? It's the same principle. It's going up on itself, right? Like this. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, right? And then it's continuing because the figure of 8 represents infinity, right? So it's continuing down on itself again, right? So it's circling back down on itself, right? And then it goes this way, right? Boom, 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 right? Then after that, right, it continues forward again. So it comes forward on itself again, right? So it's going down again, right? Boom. Then it locks into position. So look at the arc. Boom. Right? Look at the figures of 8s that are happening there, right? Jin, jin, jin. Can you see that? That is the power of all of the subtle things. Now don't forget, like, it takes from frame 1 to frame 25 just to get hair, right? So that's a whole second just to do that, right? Now from 25 to 57, which is, you know, over a second, he's going to go from hair to hair, right? So we're not just going to do a boring arc like that. We've got another second to kill. So here's a big move, takes 1 second. Here's a little move. So in the little move, we're going to add a subtle, slow arc. So it's not going to, when you look at it like as these frames, it's kind of quick and choppy. But it's going to take 1 second to go from hair to hair, right? Roughly. Over a second to just make that small movement and that little head turn, right? Which is a simple arc. So we need to make it interesting with the figure of 8 arc, right? Even when he takes it back on itself, right? So that is an insight into the power of arcing figure of 8 arcs at the very highest level. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you the figure of 8 arc at the level that my training library members have learned it. I am going to demonstrate to you what training library members learn in the real Animator training library. Now, just to show you, this is, you know, you're just going to get a very quick example, a live example that I'm going to give you right now. But to show you, my training library members have, if we go into the dashboard, okay, and I go into the basics account, so I go into the Real Animator Training Library Basics Archive. If we go into the basics course, you learn the figure of 8 arc you start the figure of 8 arc with this pendulum series where we do what's called a weighted pendulum swing, okay, which will be in the pendulum settled to a stop, or the basic pendulums in the first video. So you learn the figure of 8 arc early on. Then in the walk cycle, you learn the figure of 8 arc in the arm swing. You can see this thumbnail here. We've kind of started drawing the figure of 8 arc there. So you learn it there. But you can see there's 4 videos that you got to go through. And now in the front walk cycle, which is what I'm going to give you a really quick demo of today for free, you got another 4 videos where you really learn the figure of 8 arc at its basic root. But I'm going to try and condense all of this information for you quickly, so you can get something nice to watch and something quick, right? So let's do that. Let's get rid of my friend here, right? We don't need him. And let's start doing a front view walk cycle. All right, so let's do it with a kind of like a friendly kind of bean shape kind of character like this, right? So let's just say that we've got our front step walking like this, right? And here's our guy, right? And his arm is here, and his other arm is here, right? Okay, so this will be the underside of his foot. This will be the other side of his foot, like that, right? So let's just say we've got something like that. It kind of looks a bit like a duck, Donald Duck thing, but I'm not going to give him a duck walk, right? I'm going to keep this simple. We're going to do basic stuff. So now, using the pose-to-pose method, we're just going to do the flip side of this duck, right? So we're going to have pretty much the same position, but I'm going to change his legs. Now again, the more advanced you get, you really don't want to do the same position all the time, right? You want to vary the thing, but then we just, as I said, I'm keeping this quick and easy for you to see the power of the figure of 8 arc, right? So here's his head, right? So here we have our walking duck. And that's the power of the figure of 8 cycle. Thank you very much. No. Okay, right. So here's the main two positions, right? These are in there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this one. And I'm going to paste him here, right? Let's just call that A, right? So we've got that going forward. Now we want to start breaking it down and think about our arcs. So we're going to think about the passing position, right? So between here and here, here's where the figure of 8 arc starts to come into place. So we're going to have his pelvis over to this side, right? And we're going to put his foot flat on the floor like this, right? And he's going to be picking his foot up here on the passing position, right? And his head is going to be to the side, right? And up. Like this, right? So notice he's now shifted this way, right? Now, a figure of 8, right? Now this is a complete flat figure of 8. So he started here and he shifted here, right? So, okay, that's what we're doing, right? If you're liking this, you better damn well subscribe. If you're not subscribed to me, subscribe, because nobody else gives you this kind of information, all right? So do it now. Right, so this goes here like this. Right, so we're going to bring his arm out to the side here, and this arm is going to be like this, right? You can always correct the arms later, right? So this goes here to this side. Now I'm going to do the other side, the pass position between the other side, right? So he's going to come back here, so between here and here, right? So let me guess, right? He's here, he's gone here, right? But now he's got to go back here again, right? So we're doing this one now, right? So he's back to center here, so we're doing this one. So he's going to come out to the side here like this, right? Going to be down here like this, right? I'm going to bring that there like that, right? And then I'm going to bring his head a little bit higher, but I'm not really concerned about getting super nice action going on with the head, right? So now this arm will be going back on itself, so we can just bring that here, and this arm will be bending in to this position here like that, right? So at the moment we got something where he's going from side to side, right? Side to side, right? The main poses, the extreme poses of the pose to pose, right? Now, here's where the figure of 8 art gets interesting. You ever heard of the contact, the down, the pass, and the up? Well, this is the contact, right? So let's draw our figure of 8. Back in England, we used to have these fudge adverts. Zentron will know it. A finger of fudge is just enough to give your kids a treat. Right? Oh, that's a bit of a funny lyric there, but in animation, it's a figure of 8 is just enough to animate a treat, right? So we got to go from here to here, right? From one extreme to the other extreme. That's why they're called extremes, mate. And there's a difference, all right? There's a difference between extremes and keys. And it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts when people just call everything keys, right? The extreme point to the extreme point. Now, one could argue that these were also extreme points because this is extreme left and extreme right. Right, so, but you got extreme up and extreme down, but we're not going to take it that far because that's the journey is he's just going here and here, right? So you got to pick your extremes. So we're going to add a key, which is the path. We're not going to go in the middle. That's a big no-no. It's not an arc then, right? So from the contact, we're going to go to the down. You guessed it. You guessed it, folks. We're going to go down into the pass position. Right? You can see where this is going, right? Doesn't take rocket science to guess where the up is going to be, right? But I'll save it for you. All right? So let's do the down. Oopsie, put it in the wrong place there. So we're gonna have our character in the down, and as we're gonna have the down, we're gonna really play with the whole pelvis angle, right? Like that. Like that. Then we're gonna bend that knee. We're going to pick that foot up like that. You see the little squash and stretch going on. There's so many other laws going on in here, but we're just going to stick to what we're going to stick to. The same thing's happening to the head, by the way, right? Now, as we go down, we're going to overswing with some follow through and overlap on the arms. Now don't get me started, all right? Because, quite frankly, these arms are also a figure of 8. But as I said, you want to learn more? Give me the money. Join my training library, all right? But mind you, what you're learning here will be more than what most schools will teach you. And even the ones that do, they won't teach you like this way. Let's face facts. I'm the best at this. Right, so this goes this way, right? Bump, right? Up to this way, and this goes back. Like that. Bam, bam, bam. And he's going to go up, right? So we're just going to bring that head down like that. Boom, boom. Right, so here we've already got something happening. Let's save it. Let's do the down on the other side, right? Let's not do the ups yet, right? So let's do the down from here to here, right? So again, right, just to remind you what we've done, we haven't made full journey yet. Extreme, 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 right? So we've done a down on this side, right? We've gone from a contact to a down to a pass, but now we've jumped here, right? Because we haven't actually done the full figure yet. We're going to do the down on this side. So this is the pass on this side. We're going to do the down on this side, right? I like to save the up for the illusion, mate. All right. Because that's when the added effect, when the audience will look at it and go, arr! Right, so this is where we're gonna have the guy going down again. So as he goes down, right, as you go down, all your weight goes on this hip, right, because you take your hip off the other leg. So I've got to do my little, I've got to fling me hips about, you know, got to fling me hips about. So you see all the weight's going to go on that, right? As you're going down back into that position, right? So we're going to bend that knee out. Let's bend it a little bit more, like that. Right, bend that knee out. I'm going to have this one come further off the ground. Make sure that's well and truly in between there, like that. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. It's a little bit too extreme, that. Okay. And then this is going to be down. Then we're going to be doing our usual follow through and overlap on the arms. So this arm is going to follow through, right? And this one's going to swing back a little bit, right? Like that. The head's going to come down like that. Right, let's have a look at it without the ups. So already we've got a interesting fun walk without the figure of 8, right? At the moment we just got a kind of like W walk happening. We got this kind of thing. We've got like dun 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 dun, which is still a figure of 8. Oh, it's still a figure of 8. I've released the inner child in me. Right, so what we're going to do now, right, between here and here, is we're going to do an up, right? So, just to recap, right, we're here, contact, we've gone into the down, we've gone into the pass, but now we're going to go back to the up this way to go back to contact, right? So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to bring this guy. We're going to do this super cartoony, which is not the way we do it in the training library, right? We do it more subtle and more realistic in the training. Well, it's hardly realistic. It's a stick man doing an exaggerated walk, but not cartoony like this, right? So we're going to really delay that up, right? We're going to really delay the up like that. Something like that. Yeah. And then that's going to allow the arm swing to just be kind of like substandard pass position. Those arms are not really doing anything. They should be tidied up, those arms there. And that's going to come like that. Boom, boom. Yeah? And really come into the down stamp. Right? This arm should be fixed. That's why I like to do separate runs on the arms. But I think I've kind of sold my point, okay? As roughing out a rough walk. Actually, I'm doing something wrong on the head there. Let's bring the head nice and up. Over for a nice exaggerated figure of 8. Right? Right? So now we're going to have a look at the other up. So, just to save time, as we're going to do between here and here now, we then go this way into the down, right? So can you see how we've gone like this, into the down, into the pass? So then we get the infinity loop, because figure of 8 just means infinity 8, right? So we now are going to go up to this up and then back to contact again. So let's do that. Let's go up in the middle here. Right. Boom. Let's put a nice squash, nice stretch. Let's have a real nice delay on that leg. Bum, 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 bum. It'll need one breakdown to kick that leg out, but that's why we call it a breakdown and not a key, right? So then we're gonna swing. See, the arm here is a lot better than what we did in the other arm, but that's just the way it goes. Hopefully this will help you even if you're doing the rigging animation stuff. If you want a nice walk, you can just rough and block this out with your pen and get your little slidey-widey puppet to copy and go over this stuff, right? So let's see what we have at the moment, right? Okay, that's enough really. I'm going to put in one breakdown just to kind of show you there, but this is kind of like, in spite of the dodgy arm on one of the frames, this is kind of like enough to kind of show you. Edit, based panels, edit, based panels, right? This is enough to kind of show you how we can get a nice cartoony walk with just those few drawings, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the power of a good breakdown, right? So you can see the figure of 8. Can you see his head is really giving away that figure of 8? Boom, 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 boom. But it's actually, the figure of 8 is happening all in the hips, right? Which is what's making this work, is the power of the figure of 8 art. So let's throw in one breakdown, right? Now the breakdown has got nothing really to do with the figure of 8 it's just what goes on between here and here, but we can make it a little bit more exciting, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick that leg right out, right? Boom. Now it could be a little bit, over the top, and it might not work, but I want to try it, right? Because I saw something studying Donald Duck the other day, and I want to see if it works from the front view, right? So I'm doing this for myself, not for you. All right, so let's see if it works, right? Bum, bum, bum. Right, let's kick that leg out. I think we need to foreshorten it. The other side wasn't foreshortened enough, and we need to really keep it on the up. So I'm going to go back and change the previous one. I was in betweening too much. So let's go back. Yeah, that's bad. We want to reverse curve that leg and have it ramrod straight. So we want to reverse curve the leg and have it ramrod straight and foreshorten it out like that. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Boom. Yeah, much nicer, kicks down into that, right? Now the rest of this would have to be timed, because the more you start playing with that, you'd have to really play with the down more and have more time on the down. Otherwise he's just whacking his feet out. But I could see where that'll be quite interesting. Let's now make this a lot more interesting. I won't bother fixing that arm, you know. Let's show what we would do with the head here, right? So let's start the head, right? Let's give him a beak, because he does kind of look duck-like, right? So let's start the head like this, right? Let's start the head. Now, as the head's going down, I may want to angle that up, right? Like this. And I will give him his bottom that'll be, let's put something here like that, so that'll kind of help that illusion because it's rough, right? Bum bum bum. Right. So now we're gonna kind of like, I'm not gonna drag it at the moment. I'm gonna turn it to this side, because which arm's coming forward? Okay, yeah, let's turn the head to this side. All right, like that. Let's keep the beak here, like that. That'll do. All right, bum bum bum. Now I'm gonna keep it delayed. Oopsie, let's have the, let's keep it delayed. All right. Keep this out more to a down angle now. Like that. Bum bum bum. Right, yeah, that'll do. Alright, now here we want to get back to this head. Right? So I'm just going to make a straight up copy of this. Now, I don't want to copy it, but this is just fun on a live, right? I would rather redraw it, right? No, yeah, bum, 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 right? So the reason I do that is because we're now going to turn that head back. Right? To the angle that it needs to be at. Let's take a quick look at that. Boom. Okay, now can you see where this is going, right? So you see how we're putting nice little opposing actions. As he goes down, his head goes up. As he's turning his body has just swung this way, right? So now his head is, as his body is about to turn this way, his head is swinging this way, right? So it's kind of like counteracting that. So now the arm is playing catch up to his head, right? Like that. So let's do the same thing again. I'm not going to redraw. I'm not going to copy paste, right? Let's do the mouth. The bill will come straight up like this. Right. Bum bum bum. Now we're gonna level it up, but we're gonna turn it to this side. Right. We're gonna angle it down. Right. Should be there. Let's have it get more of a subtle turn this way. Boom. Now here we're going to turn it some more. Let's just get rid of all of this. Don't need that anymore. I'm going to angle the head more down. There, that'll do. Bum, bum, bum. then back to center again. So I think I can still use that head. Yes, I can. So I'm going to change the path. I'm not going to have it back. I'm going to change the path to be this way. So I'm going to add some variation in the head, right? So it goes like this. Bum, bum, bum. All right, let's see what we got with that head. There we go. You see how all of this rests on the figure of 8? All right. Now I could take this further and further and further. Let's just copy it so you can see the loop. Come on now. I'm pressing shift. There we go. Edit copy panels. Edit paste panels. Edit paste panels. Right. So here we can see, you know, just what this walk could be if we spent more time on it, right? But already it's pretty much sorted, you know. And so that is the figure of 8 at its most basic level, right? Now, yes, I have produced an extremely badass piece of animation, better than what most pros can do, and I'm spouting that that's the figure of 8 at its most basic level. But it really is, because it's the fundamentals that are... oh, that's nice. I'm going to look at that again. I'm in one of those. I'm having one of my turns. I'm in one of those moods today. But that's it, really. That's the fundamental basics. So that is what we saw, the same thing happening with the arc in the hand, right? It's figure of 8s. Figure of 8s everywhere, right? Even this subtle little rise of the hand. I want you to watch his hand as he raises the skull and looks at it. Right? What do we see, right? There's a little circle here. Now watch, that's one circle. But then look at what happens. The hand changes direction. It doesn't go up after that circle. So it changes direction again and comes down on itself. All needs in-betweening, but can you see the figure of 8s happening here? Look at what happens before this hand changes direction. Boom, boom, right? What are the fingers doing? Right? The fingers are coming up. You've seen that, right? Then they're doing a little loop-the-loop, right? And then they're going to go around here again, right? So that's what makes it, even if you don't draw those in-betweens, that's the arc, right? The figure of 8 arc. So now you can be like those people in those dubbed Chinese moves that go, my figure of 8 arc is far greater than your software mechanical arc. You know, so there you go. That's it. Now, if you have found value in this stream, share it with those who want to be like you, which is be badasses at real animation, hand-drawn animation. And also, if you want to learn more, consider joining my training library, where I don't just rush through it. I give you step-by-step tutorials. So go to ambanimation.com. You can watch, if you think, well, this guy's good at giving us information, but what is his animation like? Watch this. This is pretty much animated completely by me. Everything, including the backgrounds, painted up and colored and everything. So if you want to learn from somebody that can animate, and by the way, a lot of this was animated live to show off, to you guys just how badass I am, right? If you wanna if you wanna learn to be at that level, I'm showing you how to do it, right? I'm showing you completely with my Real Animator Training Library. Real Animator Training Library has been the labor of love, passionately built over the past 5 years by me, giving you pretty much everything I know in step-by-step tutorials. You can read all this, you can watch all these videos if you're really interested. You're not just, some of you might just watch the stream and go, take my money, right? I'm all for that. But if you're really going to spend and invest, then you need to watch and read all this stuff. We got two kinds of things. Edutainment archives, I won't talk too much about. Again, if you're interested, there's a bunch of videos in here that you can watch that kind of give you the overview. But edutainment's pretty much like what you've just seen me do today. Quick demos with fun and talking and no real training going on, right? Training is where you're going to go. We had a little look earlier. You're going to go in here and you're going to look at these you can either buy them in bundles or buy them one by one. So let's go in the intermediate archive, for example. You're going to go and you're going to follow step-by-step videos. You can watch this to see what's happening, but solid drawing character turnaround. So step-by-step, you're going to watch this one video where we create a turnaround of this flour sack. That'll kind of show you, hopefully the darn thing up there we go. Hopefully so we're going to create a turnaround of this flour sack. It's in here somewhere. There's a prime example of it. Watch the video. You can't watch this video playing, but basically I had a nice video of the flour sack rotating. So you learn that step by step, then you go squash and stretch. Right, you'll see this series. You've got a 3-part squash and stretch series. So you don't just watch the video like this. You watch this video and go, yeah, okay, I'm going to try it with my own character. There's none of that going on. This is Real Animator Training. You have to literally draw exactly what I draw. You have to follow along with the video, draw exactly what I draw. You can pause the video if you don't get it. This is extremely powerful, and it really does garner results. I've had people going off to work in the anime industry. I've had people going off to go and make award-winning films. I've had people to go off and do all kinds of things who have studied along with my training library. I've even had people from the industry who've worked on established shows. So again, you've got like follow through, overlap and drag. This is all. The flour sack series has around about 3 to 4 videos. You then go into the 4-step human walk cycle. So you learn how to make a 4-step cycle with this series. Quadruped, basic quadruped trot. Okay, you got 5 videos talking about the back legs, the front legs, how to put the back legs and front legs together, what to do with the head, how to time it. Okay, so you basically go through that with a walk, you go through that with a trot, you go through that with a canter. You go through that with a double suspension gallop or a single suspension gallop, sorry. And you go through that with a double suspension gallop as well. So if you're wondering what about human walks, well, as I demonstrated, that's in an archive earlier. These are all follow along archives, the basic archive. What you watched me do here, right? This is a lot more fun and a lot more cartoony and a lot more proficiently done, because I'm not doing it at a basic level, even though I said it's the basic fundamentals. But let's be real, so if you go into the front walk cycle, you're going to learn how to do it with this stick figure, all right? But the stick figure is going to teach you construction secrets, all right? So while this may move nicer in a sense, this is going to develop you a lot better at your fundamentals of volume control, arcs and things like that. So you're going to learn about a front walk cycle through these 4 videos, the legs, the arms, the head. So you do that all in the basics archive. In the Pro Archive, you're going to learn all about volume control. So earlier today, you saw me doing this big beast of a character here, to get to that level, you got to work on what we call the secret science of shape simplification. You've got a 5-part video series on drawing the head, okay, doing a head rotation and maintaining all the volumes of the facial features. Then you've got a complete body turnaround, 15 parts of doing a entire human body turnaround, where you learn the construction, you learn the muscles and all that stuff afterwards. So you've got all of that going on in there. So that is the Real Animator Training Library, the world's best learning resource in the craft of hand-drawn animation. If you wish to be able to produce work to this standard, it certainly is right at your fingertips right now if you join my Real Animator Training Library. All right, that is that.